Caitlin Clark, the Iowa Hawkeyes basketball sensation, has recently given the WNBA a jolt of energy that even the league itself didn't quite see coming. Her fiery gameplay and undeniable talent had taken the sports world by storm, but it wasn't just her athletic prowess that made waves. The reaction of her devoted fan base to a statement from the WNBA sent a clear message. They are more than ready for the league to step up its game. But before we proceed further, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. To understand why this moment resonated so deeply, it helps to look at who Caitlin Clark is and how she became a phenomenon in her own right. Clark didn't just stroll into the spotlight. She powered through with an intensity and focus that has always been impossible to ignore. Known for her dead-eye shooting, particularly from beyond the arc, and her playmaking ability that leaves defenders flat-footed, Clark has earned her place as one of the most exciting players in college basketball. She can nail three-pointers from a distance that looks more appropriate for a football pass than a jump shot. But it's not just her skills that have captivated audiences. It's the way she plays the game with an infectious swagger that radiates through the screen, the kind that makes you feel like you're part of something bigger just by watching her. Her ability to take over games has drawn in a fan base as intense and passionate as Clark herself. Many of these fans have become invested in her future career prospects, which naturally led to the WNBA, the professional league for women's basketball. But when the WNBA made a statement that seemed to minimize the importance or immediate impact of Clark and other rising stars, her fans didn't hold back. Social media lit up, and suddenly it felt like the league was getting a full-court press from a group it might not have expected. The WNBA has long been on the lookout for ways to increase its viewership, expand its reach, and break into mainstream sports conversations. They've made strides in recent years, with more televised games and bigger sponsorship deals, but the response from Caitlin Clark's fans was a reality check. They weren't asking politely for more. They were demanding that the league recognize what they already knew, that players like Clark are the future, and the WNBA needs to capitalize on this momentum now, not later. This wasn't just about excitement over Clark as a player. It was a broader call for the league to change its approach to promoting its athletes in the game. Clark's persona has always been larger than life, and it's no surprise that her fans would echo that. She plays with a kind of confidence that borders on theatrical, waving off defenders like they're part of a stage play, pulling up for threes as if she's shooting on an empty court, and celebrating with a cocky grin that says, "Yeah, I just did that." It's this energy that draws fans to her, and her fans, in turn, expect the WNBA to match that vibe. They want a league that doesn't just exist, but thrives, much like Clark does on the court. Anything less would be unacceptable. The WNBA's response, or lack of a fitting one, felt to her supporters like a missed opportunity. This wasn't about a single statement, but rather a reflection of a broader sentiment that the league might not be doing enough to elevate its stars, especially incoming talents like Clark. Her fan base is young, energetic, and savvy. They're the type of audience that the WNBA has been seeking for years, and yet it felt like the league wasn't fully prepared to embrace them. The frustration was palpable. In a world where sports are often defined by the personalities that play them, Caitlin Clark is the kind of player who doesn't just have fans. She creates a movement, and right now, that movement feels like it's ahead of the WNBA. This brings to light an interesting dynamic between the fans of college basketball, particularly women's college basketball and the WNBA. College basketball has long been the place where stars are born, where players develop rabid followings, and where rivalries take on a life of their own. But transitioning those fan bases into long-term WNBA supporters has always been tricky. Clark's fans are a prime example of how this transition could work, if the league knows how to play its cards right. The reality is that the WNBA has a treasured trove of young talent ready to enter the league, with Caitlin Clark being a prime example. But her fans want more than just a good product on the court. They want the league to feel exciting, modern, and most importantly, like it's actively invested in promoting the players they care about. This has been a persistent critique of the WNBA. It's not always as quick as it should be to market its stars, to make them household names, and to showcase the personalities that make women's basketball so compelling. Clark's appeal goes beyond her shooting stats or assist numbers. She's got a swagger that feels more akin to an NBA player than what we've traditionally seen in women's sports, and that's not an accident. Her style is a big reason why fans flock to her. She's competitive, feisty, and doesn't shy away from the spotlight. If anything, she thrives in it. Whether she's dropping 40 points in a game or jawing back and forth with an opponent, She's the kind of player who makes you want to stop and watch. And her fans, they reflect that same boldness. They aren't interested in waiting for the WNBA to get around to promoting their favorite player. They want it done yesterday. The WNBA finds itself at an interesting crossroads because of this. It has the opportunity to capitalize on this energy, but only if it recognizes what's happening in front of it. Clark's fans are vocal, and they're not going to settle for the league just casually mentioning her name every now and then. They want the WNBA to get behind her fully, to market her with the same fervor that Clark plays with. For years, the WNBA has been building a solid foundation, slowly growing its fan base and making strides in visibility. But what Caitlin Clark and her fans represent is the next phase, the chance to turn a solid foundation into a skyscraper. For the WNBA, the choice is clear. They can both step up to the plate and meet these new expectations head-on, or they risk falling behind. Fans like those of Caitlin Clark aren't just going to disappear if the league doesn't get on board, but they may take their energy elsewhere. The league has always faced an uphill battle in terms of visibility and support compared to other major sports leagues, but this moment feels different. The energy behind Clark and the players like her is palpable, and it's not something that can be easily replicated. The question becomes whether the WNBA will recognize the rare opportunity it has and take action. On the other side of the equation, Caitlin Clark herself seems to be the kind of player who isn't too concerned with what the league does or doesn't do. She's laser-focused on her own performance, driven by an internal fire that pushes her to keep breaking records and elevating her game. In many ways, that's part of what makes her so captivating. She doesn't need the WNBA to validate her talent or her future. She's going to be a star regardless. But her fans? That's a different story. Clark's fans aren't just along for the ride. They're part of the show. They expect to see their favorite player treated with the respect she's earned. They want to tune into WNBA games and see Clark doing what she does best on a national stage, with all the fanfare that comes with being a top-tier athlete. And if the WNBA can deliver on that, then the sky is truly the limit for the league. What's more interesting is the timing. Women's sports are in a period of rapid growth and visibility, with more eyes on them than ever before. The NCAA Women's Basketball Tournament, in which Clark has shined, saw record viewership numbers. It's clear that the appetite is there. The challenge now is whether the WNBA can harness that excitement and bring it into its regular season. Clark is a player who can draw fans to the league, but the WNBA has to be ready to take advantage of that kind of star power. In the end, the statement from the WNBA, while perhaps unintended to spark such a reaction, became a catalyst for an important discussion. Caitlin Clark and her fans are a wake-up call for the league, a reminder that there's a new generation of athletes and supporters who are eager for something more. They don't want slow progress or half measures. They want a league that's as bold and exciting as the players they cheer for. Whether or not the WNBA will rise to that challenge remains to be seen. But one thing is clear. Caitlin Clark isn't waiting around for them to figure it out, and neither are her fans. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more engaging content. We thrive on your feedback, so be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments section below. Until next time, keep discovering and stay tuned.